I am so excited this morning to talk about this because we're in a bit of a sports desert right now, but this is a big, meaty piece of news, really because of what Tom Brady didn't say. Because what he did say, Jenna, and as you mentioned in the over 2,500 words, is that he understood when he was growing up how to get west because you drove towards the Pacific Ocean. He didn't understand when he was growing up where exactly was New England. Is it a state? Is it a territory? Is it a collection of states? We learned about that. We learned about his mountain analogy, which I think you could have heard on this show a few months ago when I was talking about Tom Brady. We learned a lot. What we didn't learn, though, was what, if any, appreciation Tom Brady had for the other GOAT in the New England Patriot organization, Bill Belichick. Because in these 2,617 words, Tom Brady mentioned Bill Belichick's name precisely once. And it was not to talk about what Belichick did do. It was actually, as one mentioned, was talking about what Belichick didn't do. That Belichick didn't call him when he was drafted, that his assistant Burge called him instead. All these words about geography, about family, about his children, about his past, his present, his future, and not a single hat tip to the greatest coach of all time. Not a single Coach Belichick. Thank you for, putting me in the starting lineup and keeping me in the starting lineup. Or Coach Belichick, these 6 Super Bowls, the first one we won when I only threw 1 touchdown pass the entire playoff run. The second and third Super Bowls we won when your defense held Peyton Manning's Colts to 17 combined points in 2 playoff games. Or how about the most recent one we won, where I didn't come up with a touchdown at all in the game, but your defense held the Rams to 3 points. None of that anywhere in the article. A lot of esoteric thoughts about his future, about what he's trying to accomplish, how much time he has left. But Wildes, I was shocked, and if I were a Patriot fan like you, I'd be offended on Belichick's behalf that Tom Brady didn't find the time or the words for a thank you to his head coach.
See, Jenna,
what, Wildes?
This is Nick getting into the Patriots nation and just trying to stir the pot. He gets in, tries to stir the pot, and leaves, all to the benefits of his chief. He's trying to get Belichick fired up. I thought this was pinpoint perfect Tom Brady. Pinpoint perfect. Because you know how Tom Brady won all those Super Bowls? And just like Nick said, he could win Super Bowls by throwing just 1 touchdown. He was efficient, and he was mistake-free. That's it. This was a piece of corporate literature sponsored by Under Armour. There was other articles called Only Way Through. Embiid wrote one. Anthony Joshua wrote one. So the goal of this article for Tom Brady was get through the article, make some nice points, don't turn the ball over, and move on to, oddly, Howard Stern. I think this article to the Howard Stern interview coming tomorrow is very odd, Jenna. I don't quite know his public strategy here. Between this makes sense, but the Stern interview tomorrow is kind of confusing to me.
See, Wildes, I think you used the right word, strategic. I think much like we didn't really know what that Hulu ad was before the Super Bowl, it all made sense. I think there's some planning, some strategy here to Tom Brady. But let's ask the guy who actually played football. Brian, what did you learn about Tom Brady himself after you read this article? Was there anything new you learned?
Well, you know what? There was a couple new things that I did learn, but here's my thoughts even before the article came out, is that I didn't think that there was anything else that Tom Brady had to prove. He's won 6 Super Bowls. He's been to 9. He's been the best quarterback over the last 2 decades. He's just been awesome, and he's done it all in one place. But when you talk about the greatest competitors, you talk about Jordan and Kobe and Tiger and Tom Brady, they're motivated by something much bigger than just winning games. They're motivated by things much bigger than what I had thought Tom Brady would have been motivated by. And to me, it seems like Tom Brady is motivated by the challenge of going to a new place with new teammates, with new coaches, in a new destination, and finding a way to win the same way that Breeze did it, the same way that Manning did it. And now faced with that challenge, I think that's something that he's very excited about. But I also think this, in my mind, after reading this entire essay, I would still say that Tom Brady's heart and his body and his soul is still in New England. Unfortunately, they couldn't find a way to get him back there. But it also made me think that Tom Brady probably mentally had checked out in New England a couple years ago, similar to what Nick has been saying for quite some time.
Well,
Interesting that he doesn't mention Belichick just once, Nick, but his heart's still in New England. Go, Nick.
Yeah, all of these things can be true, but this wasn't a college essay where if you go over the word count, you automatically fail. It's the internet. It's not newsprint where you only have so many column inches. He could have at any point said, and let me say this about my coach, of which our relationship has been the subject of much speculation. He did not. Belichick, conversely, when he released his statement, here are some exact quotes from Bill Belichick, who, by the way, his statement was 267 words, almost exactly 1/10 the length of Tom Brady's piece. He wrote, "Our relationship is built on love, admiration, and respect." He called his career unfathomably, spectacular. Said it was a privilege to coach Tom Brady. Said his career will be celebrated forever. Said the examples of greatness are limitless. Said, quote, "I am extremely grateful for what he did for our team and for me personally." And the final line, "Sometimes in life, it takes some time to pass before truly appreciating someone. But that has not been the case with Tom. He is a special person and the greatest quarterback of all time." I would ask, Wildes, you say I'm trying to stir up Patriot Nation. Listen, Belichick, I know it's hard for you to wrap your mind around because you're still in the denial phase. The Patriot Nation I am defending right now because Belichick is still a part of it. Tom Brady is no longer a part of it. And as a Patriot fan, your head coach handled this right. But I do wonder if your former quarterback could learn from your head coach's final line. Sometimes in life, it takes time to pass before truly appreciating someone. And I do wonder when Bruce Arians is telling him to take 7-step drops and rub some dirt on it, and the defense is allowing 28 or 31 points in Tampa, even though that's a very good defense, if that is when Brady might appreciate Wildes what he had with Bill Belichick, because right now it seems like it is still very raw, Kevin, and there are still some open wounds there on Brady's behalf.
All right. Okay, here we go. So I've got two boys, and they'll be sitting next to each other, and the one will start poking the other one. I say, "Russ, just ignore him." He'll poke him. Russ, just ignore him, and eventually it explodes. And that's Nick, you have accomplished it. Now I'm ready to go. And if you were trying to stir the pot, you did it. Here's the thing. You're right. It could have gone on. He could have said a lot of things about Bill Belichick. Maybe there's another article coming, perhaps. Part of me thinks that only way is through it is not part of the Under Armour way to address the situation. And talking about your coach doesn't fit within the brand parameters of the article. But to Nick's point, part of me thinks that Tom Brady needs to reciprocate the beautiful article that Bill Belichick wrote about him, the beautiful press release. He hasn't done any of that. He wrote GOAT on the NFL 100 Instagram. That's all we've heard. So yes, Nick, you're right. If it goes around another time, I will ratchet up and get further and further angry. But yes, you've got me. Congratulations. Now I'm upset. Early in the morning. It was accomplished.
But here's what I'm wondering, guys. Who do you think is being more honest? Tom Brady penning this 2,500-word article mentioning Bill Belichick one time, or Bill Belichick writing 250-some-odd words and gushing over Tom Brady? They both seem out of character for both of them. So what do you want? The guy who seems to be more honest, or the guy who you know is just writing because that's what people want or need to hear? I also have this question for you, Brian Westbrook. Who do you think Tom Brady was writing this for? Was it just for himself so he could get himself motivated? There's usually an audience when you sit down to write something like this. Who do you think he was writing it for?
Well, the biggest person and people that I think he was writing it to was the Patriots fans, how much he loved them, how much he did things in New England, how much he loved raising his boys there. I think Tom Brady enjoy this time in New England. I also think that Tom Brady looks at superstar athletes like Kobe and Dirk Nowitzki and says, you know what? They played their entire career in one place, and the ownership and the coaches respected them enough, even after some of their prime years were over, that they kept them there. They found a way to make it work. And I believe that Tom Brady, and this is the reason I believe he didn't mention Bill Belichick more than that one time, is because he feels like, listen, you could have found a way to keep me there. I wasn't so bad last year. Matter of fact, we were 12-4 last year as far as on the season as a team. I wasn't so bad last year that you needed to find a different way to go with a different type of quarterback. Maybe if you put more weapons around me, then at that point we could be more successful. If I'm Tom Brady, I still would be a little salty as well. Like, listen, look what I brought to this organization, and you're willing to let me go at the tail end of my career. If you could have given me a couple more years, maybe I could have spent my entire career here in New England, and I think that would have made Tom Brady very happy.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.